I did see this. This is probably the biggest news of the day. It happened earlier. Valve banning Steam games that force players to watch advertisements. We're getting this. I've been waiting on this for a while. Developers, and this is what they've said here. Valve, the company behind the Steam gaming platform, has introduced a new policy prohibiting games that require players to watch advertisements to continue playing. This policy, and also keep in mind, watching advertisements to continue playing and watching advertisements to get additional bonus currency, these are, as far as I know, very different things. But making people watch ads to play the game is a different thing than giving people an incentive to watch ads. Totally different universes anyway. This policy aims to prevent games from adopting ad-heavy monetization models similar to those prevalent in mobile gaming. While cross-promotions or product placements are still allowed, developers must remove any form of forced advertising before their games can be listed on Steam. The gaming community has generally welcomed this change, appreciating Valve's efforts to preserve the quality of gaming experiences on PC. And so let's take a look at what they actually said. So Valve actually said, let's go ahead, I'll open up the image here. Developers should not utilize paid advertising as a business model in their game, such as requiring players to watch or otherwise engage in advertising in order to play, or gating gameplay behind advertising. If your game's business model relies on advertising on other platforms, you will need to remove those elements before shipping on Steam. Some options you could consider would include switching to a single purchase paid app. Imagine making a game that you just pay money for it and then you can play the game. That's crazy. Who would have ever done that? And or making your game free to play with optional upgrades sold via microtransactions or DLC. True. And developers should not use advertising as a way to provide value to players, such as giving players a reward for watching or engaging. Wow. So they're just getting rid of all of it. See, originally I thought it was just like you have to watch an ad to play the game. No, they're getting rid of everything. They're saying, no, you're not having any ads in the game. It doesn't matter if you're getting premium currency or anything. We do not want to have ads in this fucking game. Developers should not charge other developers for access to Steam features. That includes sale pages. Yeah, of course not, right? That's just something separate. And so, is this a W? Well, yes, obviously it's a W. This is a huge W. It's obviously a benefit to everybody. It's just annoying. I think that obviously, you know, a developer is going to want to do whatever they can to make money, but some things are just simply not in the consumer's best interest. And another big issue that you have to keep in mind is that when somebody has a bad experience with a game on Steam, that means they have a bad experience with Steam. So it's in Steam's best interest to make sure that the gaming experience that their users have is a high quality, rewarding, and ethical experience that makes them feel good so they come back and use the platform more. So it's in Steam's best interest in order to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. And also, another big factor here is Steam doesn't make any fucking money off of this. So these are these companies that are trying to, like, basically skirt the 30% or the 20% fees from Steam and then put these advertisements in game so they can keep the fucking money. So that's another reason too, right? I mean, let's be honest, because they're trying to get as much money as they can. How would this affect games that have advertised items in them like Coke or Pepsi? I think that what we're really talking about, what everybody is obviously talking about, is that games that require you to watch ads. That's really what we're discussing here. We're not discussing the new Forza Motorsport where you can drive a Porsche. That's not obviously what the conversation is about. It never was. And so a sponsorship, you know, some sort of transaction model is a totally different situation. Ads are bad. Yeah, 2K ads, it's a totally different thing. Now, I think you bring up a good point, and your point is relevant. I just don't think that's really what they're trying to address here. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. And so, yeah, that's product placement. It doesn't affect the new policy. Yes. And product placement is different than paid advertising. That's a good point. Now, obviously, like, you could say that this is the same thing because they are, but I think they function differently in a lot of, like, just common practice. Anyway, Giga-based. Damn, Steam is fucking the greedy devs and companies over left and right lately. Well, they also haven't just done this. So obviously Steam is not just pushing this here. Steam bans all games that force players to watch advertisements, but it's also Steam early access warning. So this is a really big difference, and Steam's actually done this maybe, I guess this is last week. I didn't talk about it, I forgot why. Steam now warns about early access games that have not been updated in months. So there's a lot of games that come out on early access and people buy into them thinking that the game will continue to evolve and it will just improve until the release of the game. Well, in a lot of cases, that doesn't happen. And again, when somebody buys an early access game and then that game doesn't really get any improvements to it, who does that person have a problem with? When that person wants to refund the game, do they go to the developer? No, they go to Steam. And so now Steam has to process a refund request because some developer wanted to basically put out a half-finished product and then have Steam deal with the fucking customer support for it. So it's a false promise. Yes, exactly. And so Steam is not beating the based allegations. No, they are not. It's good that this sort of info is presented near the top of the store page. Can I think of a game? Can you guys think of a game that's like that? And I'm going to pull it up and let's take a look at it in real time. So we have a game called Last Oasis. Let's take a look at the trailer here. Nomadic survival MMO. And so anyway, people could get excited, but now they scroll down and they realize, note, the last update made by the developers was over 2 years ago. The information timeline described by the developers here may no longer be up to date. That is the most passive-aggressive way to say, hey, yo, you could be getting scammed, bro. Yeah, you could be getting a little bit of scam. Like, let's be honest, right? It could just be a little bit of one of those situations, right? And so, yeah, there you go. Rogue Company third-person shooter has literal ads that you can watch daily for rewards, not forced, though. So, if I read the Steam rules correctly, even optional ads are now disallowed. Because if you read this second bullet point, developers should not use advertising as a way to provide value to players. Is premium currency a value to a player? It obviously is, because they charge money for it. So if they didn't think it was valuable, they wouldn't be asking you to give value to them in order to get it. Duh. And so, such as giving players a reward for watching or engaging with advertising in their game. So this is even encompassing rewards for doing it as well, right? Should not is weird. Well, what they're saying is that don't do it, right? That's basically what they're saying is don't do it. And so, yeah, it's that simple. And, yeah, I don't know if I agree if it's entirely consensual. I think that you bring up a good point. And I think that Steam is probably just doing this because they think that there's probably two reasons that they're doing it. There's the consumer, the pro-consumer reason, which is that systems that do this are usually fucking annoying, and I don't think anybody really likes them. Like, here's the thing, and I, like, correct me if I'm fucking wrong here, but why is it that every game isn't designed like Monster Hunter, where you kill a monster maybe 10 or 15 times, and you're pretty much for sure going to get the item. And if you don't get the item, you can just go buy it from the vendor. Pretty much, right? Minus, like, you know, some very, very exclusive decorations. This is generally the case. And so, 10, 15 times? Well, I mean, for me, because game designers suck, they don't suck. That's the problem. They don't suck. Why is it that in Metaphor ReFantazio, if you want to get a good item, all you have to do is kill the same mob maybe like 10, 20 times, you're going to get that item. And then a lot of items you can even get just directly from, like, you know, just different game objectives, right? And so the reason why, I'll tell you why. It's because they want to make you play the game longer. The entire game is designed around the monetization structure. So the problem is that when you have a video game that the monetization structure is ongoing, then it's in the video game's best interest to keep you playing the game as long as possible. Now, making you enjoy the game is one way to do that, but it's not the only way to do that. That is very different than whenever you purchase a video game, like, for example, when you purchase Armored Core 6, let's say. You buy Armored Core 6, you have the game, that's it. So there's nothing else that they're going to get. There's nothing else that anybody else is going to make out of this. That's literally all there is to it. So the big difference here is that with a lot of these games, you don't actually... These games are designed in a way to make you want to engage with their systems that are annoying. And they are designed to be annoying on purpose. Why is there a cap to energy in gacha games? Can anybody answer that? Why can you only do the dailies? Why can't you just keep farming resources infinitely? Why not? Really, you think about it. Just take a step back and ask yourself, why are these systems in the game? They're in the game so the company can make money by keeping you engaged longer. And they basically, these are video games that are made with ankle weights on your character by default, and you have to pay money to take them off for a day. The reality of that is that those games are, in my opinion, worse. And the game experience is made worse because of systems like this. This is the first order effect, because this is the reason why it happens. So that's the way I feel about it. Pay for convenience makes it to where developers make their game inconvenient. That's it. So yes, Valve doing this is a massive fucking W. I am so happy they did this. I hope it continues, man. So yes, Steam should require no premium currency. I don't think they're gonna do that. I mean, that would be really nice if they did that, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. So we'll see though.